Assalamu alaikum, my dear students. I hope all of you are fine and doing well. So the topic we will discuss today it is the polysaccharides, which is the main third class of the carbohydrates. So here the word we have poly. The poly means many and the saccharides mean units. So by definition, the polysaccharides are mainly macromolecules, carbohydrates that are consisting hundred to thousands of the monosaccharides. It's mean when from 100 to 1000 monosaccharides are combined, then they form the type of the carbohydrates which is known as the polysaccharides. So here the word poly means simple, many units. And upon hydrolysis, they produces the different monomers depending upon the type of the polysaccharides. So they can be hydrolyzed, and when they get hydrolyzed, upon hydrolysis they produces simple units or the different monosaccharide units. So they are easily hydrolyzable. And the simple examples of the polysaccharides we have the starch, and the second we have cellulose. These two types of the carbohydrates are mainly simple polysaccharides. Let's have the structure of examples of the polysaccharides. The first one we have it is the starch, and the starch is known as the polysaccharide. So in starch we guys can see that they are polymers in which there are many monomers are combined and they are forming the long chains. If we have a close look on these three members, this is the first, second, and third member. They are joined together as these are the three glucose molecules and they are forming the long chains and changes into the starch. And the one glucose molecule combines with the other glucose molecule, and this linkage is known as the glycosidic linkage. The linkage is known as glycosidic linkage by which the units combine together and they are forming the carbohydrate. Along with that, the polysaccharides, these are the most abundant type of the carbohydrate that is found in the food. So this is mainly present in the food. On the other hand, this carbohydrate can easily react with the water, and it reacts with the water by using the enzyme which is known as the amylase enzyme. And here the amylase enzyme just work as a catalyst, and then it produces the simple constitutes sugars which may be monosaccharides or they may be oligosaccharides. So it produces different units by the or in the presence of the simple catalyst. So they have the different range in their structure. They may have linear structure or they may have like this the branch structure. Both the type of structures present in them. For example, if we have a storage polysaccharides, which is the starch, or it can be glycogen, or maybe the galactogen. These three are the mainly polysaccharides. And other the structure polysaccharide, we have two types. The structural polysaccharide, it is cellulose, and we have chitin. These two are the structural polysaccharides, and these are the simple storage polysaccharides. So all they have different structures along with the presence of this linkage between two groups, and this linkage is mainly known as the glycosidic linkage. On the other hand, the polysaccharides are mainly heterogeneous and Hetero mean different and genus mean type. And they also contain the simple modification, which is the repeating units. They may have the repeating units in their structure. Then we have some properties of the polysaccharides. So here we have properties of the natural polysaccharides. The first one, they are known poisonous. It's mean if someone just take it into the body, they will produce no harm. They are harmless. They are low in cost and they are eco-friendly, mean ecosystem. They will not produce any pollutant. On the other hand, they are recyclable, means we can recycle them or we can also produce the new products by the use of it. They have native accessibility, means they are easily accessible. They are community approval, which means they can work in the community as well. They are biocompatible. The living organisms, they are compatible. Along with their some physical properties of the polysaccharides, they are amorphous solids. Amorphous solids mean they have irregular arrangement of different particles in them. Second, they are tasteless and they are insoluble in water. When they get dissolved in water, they will not soluble as they will remain undissolved in the water. And they are mainly non-reducing in nature. So they have the properties like oligosaccharides. The oligosaccharides may be reducing or non-reducing. On the other hand, polysaccharides are always non-reducing in nature. On the other hand, we have different examples of the polysaccharides. Now, what is their main function? The function of the polysaccharide is they are common source of energy. They are common source of energy for the living organisms. On the other hand, the many organisms just break up the starch into the glucose, as we have the main example of the polysaccharide, which is starch. So the organism can break up it into the glucose, and then glucose is the main source of energy for them. On the other hand, the other types of the polysaccharides, which is cellulose and chitin, they organism cannot metabolize them. The type we have cellulose and the chitin. They cannot be metabolized by the organisms. So, for their metabolism, there is a need of some bacteria or the simple use of the microorganisms by the living organisms for its digestion and for its breakdown. So, this was the simple properties of the polysaccharides, that how do they work in our environment and what are their main uses. On the other hand, I have already told you about different polysaccharides. They may be storage or they may be simple structural polysaccharides. On the other hand, they have also their chemical identification test. We have simple tests for their identification. So polysaccharides is it is the most abundant saccharides or the carbohydrates present in the food or in the form of the food. I hope you guys understand about the topic, and if you have any queries, you may ask me about that in the comment section and I will get back to you guys soon. So the next topic we will discuss it is the sources of the carbohydrate. For that time, you guys keep learning and have a good day.